Alright, I apologize for the harsh lighting, but it is what it is here today. Nice bright sunny day. What I'm doing today is a little unusual for my channel, but it's got to be done. My $500 Dakota has started leaking really bad from the water pump. 7 miles from my house to here, and it was trying to overheat already by the time I got out here because it dumped so much water on the road. So I've got the water pump. I don't have the special tool required to get the fan off of the water pump pulley on this. So we're going to try and make that. So that's the first step. Let me get you in here and show you what I'm talking about. So I don't know if it's going to show up real well on camera here, but you got this big nut on here basically that is the fan attachment, and then this is the water pump pulley. And if you can look right over there, and I don't know if you can see it, but over here there's another one of those little small holes. There's 4 of them around here. It's actually a press-on pulley, but it's still got the holes because you're supposed to put a special tool that goes in those holes that helps you hold it so that you can loosen the nut. I've tried holding the belt tension, but that belt is in such bad shape that it isn't gonna hold it anyway, and that nut's too tight. So I'm going to attempt to make a special tool that will allow me to both loosen and tighten the fan. So the basic procedure is removing the fan and the fan shroud, serpentine belt. Then it's pretty straightforward. Detach the hoses, remove the bolts, pull out the old one, clean the gasket surface, prep the new gasket, put the new one on, torque it down properly, connect all the hoses again, put the belt back on, put the fan and the shroud back on. To start with, I use my calipers to take a measurement, approximate as best I could way down in there. My calipers wouldn't even fit between the fan and the pulley, but I did my best to get the center to center on those holes. I've marked that on this piece of flat stock. I'm going to drill a couple of holes. I've got a couple of bolts here that I have determined fit through there. I'll tack these in place with the welder so that I can get on there and hold that. Alright guys, I didn't get it on film, the actual use of it. When I broke it loose, but I'm going to kind of simulate it here. What I came up with, originally I thought I was going to make it double-sided, so I took this side out too, but it had to be ground out too far in here to clear the shaft. So I welded this piece back on to give it some strength. Those are those two bolts I welded in. I had to grind the heads off to give it clearance for the wrench. Let's see if we can get a shot down in here. Okay, this is how it goes. It slots in those two holes like that. The wrench is, I have this sort of size of this big old crescent wrench, which is why the space was so tight. I actually had to grind the sides of it down a little bit, and then it was snugged up and I just broke it loose. So it's good and broke loose now. I should be able to turn it off. And there it is. Alright, the next step is to remove the fan shroud. So you can see there's two mounting bolts on those tabs on each side. So I'm going to remove those and then pull the shroud out. I forgot to mention, and I forgot to do because I was waiting for it to cool off before I did it, but we have to drain the radiator, drain the coolant out of the system, which means we have to remove these clips, drop this lower shroud down so we can get at the petcock, which is right up under here. Get that done. See if I can do it from above here. Back to the fan shroud now. Another rule I picked up when I was working at the parts department at the dealership. If I'm removing fluids from a vehicle, the cap goes in the way of the hood latch. A, it keeps you from losing it, but then B, if you try and close the hood, it's going to hit that. You're not going to go driving away without your coolant or your oil or whatever it is you're changing. Right down all the way. actually. I'm just removing all the bolts from the water pump, and since I don't do this all the time, I need to keep track of which bolt goes where. So I've got a piece of cardboard here that I'm sticking the bolts in as I take them out. In position. Ugh. I'm putting this new one up here to help me figure out which bolts down here go to that and which go to other stuff. The only one left is this one up here, which is behind that damn pulley and difficult to get to. Hey, I get to use my new Pittsburgh ratcheting end wrench. Now maybe I can get on that. This upper hose on these things is a pain in the butt. Here's the old one. Okay, so I've cleaned the gasket off, sprayed the whole area down with some brake clean to get any residual oils off. I'm sure this is not the way you're supposed to do it, but the way I clean a gasket off, have for years, is I have this old chisel. It is not sharp anymore. It's slightly dulled, and I run it over a stone just to knock down any burrs. You want a perfectly smooth edge, otherwise you can mar the surface you're trying to clean up. And that's what I use. I'm sure that's not what you're supposed to use, but it works for me. But if you have any little burrs on there, it will scratch your gasket surface, especially on aluminum. This isn't so touchy because it's cast iron block, but if you got aluminum working on the motorcycles, you better not have any. Alright, I've applied, as the manual says, I've applied sealant to the gasket both sides, applied the gasket to the pump, a couple of bolts to hold her in place, and slip her down through here without screwing up the sealant. Just tightening these down to the book spec, which is 30 foot-pounds. It says to do them in quarter turn increments. So right now I'm getting them all equally snug here. And I'm kind of doing a crisscross pattern as I do it. Alright, so that's all of them, 30 foot-pounds. I gotta get all these hoses back on the sucker. This top one is a real bitch. But I think I got it. Oh, now I remember why I moved that bolt. So it holds this in place. Back out it comes. Or at least loosen it comes. Of course I did. I didn't remove it by mistake, I removed it on purpose. Since I have easy access, I'm going to go ahead and close that petcock now. And if it's like usual, it's one of those plastic little freaking petcocks, and I'm betting it doesn't seal properly now. On older cars, it seems like they always end up leaking when I put them back, when I close it again. Back in place. Get that started on there so it's not trying to knock this out of place every time I turn around. That works better. So getting the fan started threading on so its weight isn't in holding the shroud down. Get all these fan shroud bolts tightened up. Just everything in reverse order. Hopefully I'm not forgetting any steps. Now we get to get the fan put back on. Voila! Special tool works. Now, because I don't trust that petcock, the first thing I'm going to pour in here is actually going to be water. Because I have a feeling it's going to leak and I want to make sure. So, start my mixture with a little bit of water. Test that petcock. Yep, it's dripping. Okay, so the petcock was not sealing, so I ended up having to take it apart to find bad O-ring. Put a new O-ring on it. It's back in. It's sealing up now. so we can go ahead and fill her up with coolant. Alright, let's start it up and see what happens. Actually, first I'm going to go wash my hands. So far, so good. Waiting for the thermostat to open. Exciting. Yep, she's open now. Alright. Job's done. Takeaways. There's a coolant hose off the top of the water pump. The book calls it a bypass hose. It's terrible. It's underneath the alternator and underneath the bracket, and you can only access about that much of it. Just enough to get on the clamp. The special tool worked. It worked, no problem, so happy there. I'm saving it just in case something goes wrong here and I have to redo this. If anybody wants, measurements off of it, let me know. I can get you those, but it's pretty straightforward. All my other fluids check out, so I'm gonna wash up, go home, call it a day. If you found this at all interesting, let me know in the comments below. If you didn't, let me know. I can do more of the same, or I can do less. It's up to you guys, what you like. Thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you didn't. Leave a comment, please. If you thumb it down, at least leave me a comment. Let me know why. I can't prove if you don't help me. If you're interested in what I do, either the other stuff or this stuff, you might want to subscribe. I would appreciate it. Other than that, thanks for watching. Have a good day.